What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 5. This is going to be Game 2 between INTZ Esports and CNB. Currently, CNB holding a one-game advantage as they had a pretty methodical game in Game 1, and they got an early lead, and they just did not let go of it. Was a little bit rocky at some stages, but they managed to get there in the end. Taking a look here at Game 2, INTZ, rather. Going to be grabbing the Centaur once again. Now a Skywrath Mage going to take a little bit priority. Might be in direct response to that Axe, as pure damage, or sheer damage, is going to be really nice versus that hero. And together with the Centaur Warrunner, that's a hell of a lot of magical bursts. So INTZ kind of going old school with their opening, whereas for CNB, going rather new school. Looking at the bans as well, Jugs, Troll going to get the bans out, as well as the Batrider. Very flavor of the month there. Medusa has a respect ban from INTZ, it seems. Not really sure if that's warranted, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do, and Medusa's not going to be played, but Shadow Fiend is going to be picked up by CNB. So Shadow Fiend, as I said in the previous game, a hero that you really kind of have to build around, at least offer him some sort of protection through very large amounts of aggression in the other lanes, or just very defensive play around the Shadow Fiend. And you can see that CNB are taking care to protect their Shadow Fiend as best they could with their bans. Making sure to, oh, that's not what I want to press. Making sure to protect the Shadow Fiend in lane, getting rid of that Initiator from the Storm Spirit and Templar Assassin, two heroes that could jump in and insta-give a very soft hero like Shadow Fiend. It's impossible to defend versus everything, but if you give a Shadow Fiend a good start, then maybe he'll be able to tank through it. INTZ going to ban out the Vengeful Spirit and Morphling. Even though they already have a Skywrath Mage, I don't really know if that Morphling is really going to be a threat, but Vengeful Spirit certainly a worthwhile hero to take care of, whether pick it for yourself or just get rid of it on the other end. And because their plan was to grab the Faceless Void Skywrath Mage combo, then the Vengeful Spirit is going to hit the bin. So Faceless Void with that Skywrath Mage, it's a combo that we've seen a million times before. Versus the tankier heroes, it's not as impressive, but certainly it could do the job versus the Shadow Fiend and any other softer hero that CNB decided to pick up. Most likely would be one, if not both, of their support heroes. So INTZ, as I said before, kind of going old school with their build. A Skywrath Mage first pick, followed up with Centaur, Faceless Void. If Brewmaster was on their mind, then it might not be anymore because of the Faceless Void, but if they really were going to go old school, then you would grab a Brewmaster right about now. CNB, though, they have two pretty high physical damage heroes. Their Templar Assassin is banned out, so they're not going to be going for mass minus armor, but they're going to take minus armor where they can get it. Dazzle as the pick. Not only is going to offer that weave, which does let Axe and Shadow Fiend survive a lot more and also do a lot more damage with their physical output. Keep in mind, Counter Helix is physical damage. With that weave, they will also be able to protect their allies. Daz will be able to protect his allies from Chronospheres with both the Shadow Wave and the Shallow Grave. So usually when you land a Chronosphere into a Mystic Flare, it's an instant kill. But the only two things you really have to worry about are Vengeful Spirit swaps and Dazzle Grave, as those are two things that can just shut down everything. The Shadow Demon Disruption is also maybe going to be annoying at points.
Reserve time.
But it's looking to be a pretty standard, very high physical damage draft from CNB. Their other support shouldn't really be going into this, but it's a pretty direct counter straight against what INTZ are picking up right now. And as far as their other lanes are concerned, I mean, they don't really need anything in particular except for a little bit more crowd control, perhaps. That's kind of weakness when you pick up a Dazzle. Your CC is going to be lacking. But they can make up for it in shenanigans. Put the Axe and Dazzle in the creep cutting role. Start fighting early. That could get quite a bit done versus the likes of Faceless Void and Centaur Warrunner, two cores that are melee. That's exactly what Axe wants to see against him in lane. So CNB maybe going to prep for some shenanigans, and that's a great way of drawing the attention away from your Shadow Fiend. The more you're being a nuisance in the other lanes, the more heroes you're going to force down there. Therefore, your Shadow Fiend has to worry a little bit less about rotations coming in. INTZ, what do they want to go for? They're looking for another support hero. Witch Doctor would be a reasonable pickup for them. Not only will it offer them a little bit more defense for the Faceless Void and that heal, but also you gotta remember that Death Ward Chronosphere combination. Maybe a little bit more difficult to land now that the Death Ward doesn't fire in that Chronosphere. But let's be honest, you should be able to put the Death Ward outside the Chronosphere and get that combo off regardless. It's not that hard. So at the very least, they need a ranged. They would like a ranged hero to try to deal with that Axe. And melee support heroes, they generally have their weaknesses, but those weaknesses go double when you're up against that spinning red guy. So, ooh, they are going to go old school. Look at me calling all the shots. Brewmaster going to be the pick for INTZ. So, you know, it's not exactly the best combination with Faceless Void, but they have pretty much all the anti-Brewmaster tech, so if they wanted to grab it, they could have waited until a little bit later. They're just going to go into what they're comfortable with, and that's perfectly fine. Put the Brewmaster mid, Centaur Warrunner in the off lane, Faceless Void, Scarith Mage, +1 support hero in the safe lane, and that's a pretty much done deal for INTZ.
10 seconds.
And the matchups there will be pretty reasonable for CNB. Maybe they're going to prep for an offensive tri-lane.
5 seconds remaining.
Axe, Dazzle, one more, can do quite a bit of damage versus that melee hero Faceless Void.
Reserve time.
And it's really up to CNB as to whether or not they actually want to pull the trigger there. And the Shadow Fiend is going to have a good time in lane. He's going to be up against one melee hero regardless of where he goes. At the very least, one melee hero. So his matchup isn't going to be too terrible. Brewmaster versus Shadow Fiend is actually relatively even. Brewmaster will be fine. Shadow Fiend should be fine. It's level 6 where Brewmaster is able to maybe get a kill on Shadow Fiend, but that might not happen. So CNB, they have to worry about their other lanes. One more support is needed, and they should look to grab that support right now. INTZ are looking for another support as well, obviously. So if you grab the support here, you're able to ban out one more support through your pick, and then straight ban out another support, and then you're usually good to go. You get a little bit more of an edge that way. So what support hero do they actually want to grab right now? It's maybe it's going to be time for a melee support hero, something like Sand King or an Earthshaker. Grabbing another stun to throw into that Chronosphere might be pretty useful. As far as other possibilities are concerned, well, nothing really screams out right now. Io was not the hero I was going to say. I was considering it. I mean, I actually have like the whole list of heroes pulled up just to see if it jogs anything. But Io Axe is reasonable. The problem is that this is going to force CNB to ban out an Ancient Apparition, because you can't really afford to run in Dazzle and Io with Ice Blast in the field. It's just a little bit too threatening. So yeah, they are kind of going to have to do that. But if that is going to happen, I'm pretty sure INTZ are 100% okay with grabbing a Disruptor. Just pseudo counter versus the Io, a decent hero versus the Shadow Fiend as well. And then they should be pretty happy with that. So INTZ, Disruptor, or Ancient Apparition, pretty easy last pick there as they take out the Gyrocopter. Still a little bit scared of these CNB Io combinations, although I'm pretty sure it's just going to be an Io tri-lane. And that's a reasonable way to go if you could funnel a lot of healing into the Axe. If you get a Bounty Rune on Io at minute 0, then a fast bottle can just instantly win you some lanes. Lion is going to take the ban actually, so INTZ looks like they get a free pick of Disruptor or AA. And then it's just a matter of what they want more. It's not really going to make a huge difference as they're both pretty capable. I think I probably favor the AA a little bit more in this game. Just being able to shut down the Dazzle and Io's healing and regeneration can give you quite a bit of an edge. It's also reasonable with the Faceless Void Chronospheres, so you get a little bit more synergy that way. Although Static Storm kind of does it as well. You don't really want to be layering Static Storm with Chronosphere.
10 seconds remaining.
Static Storm isn't really all about that damage. It's about the silence. And they're not going to be casting anything when they're in the bubble. So what's it going to be? And so if they pick up something besides those two, it's going to be surprising. And okay, Enchantress.
Radiant team pick.
Well, obviously it wasn't what I expected. Otherwise I would have mentioned it. It's not really in line with what the rest of INTZ heroes want to do. When you pick up an Enchantress, your game plan is usually going to be more on the aggressive side. And that's fine. But Faceless Void is not really that aggressive hero. Centaur Warrunner really needs a really good start if he's going to be played aggressively. And I don't really know if that's going to work out. The Enchantress, yeah, he'll be able to provide some pressure from time to time. Maybe apply a little bit of pressure towards that Shadow Fiend. That's probably where Enchantress's strengths are going to shine through the most. But maybe they just want to take this as an opportunity to get a jungling hero out. Enigma, probably not what you want to do versus an Axe. I don't know, this Enchantress pick seems a little bit weird to me. Unless I'm just missing something completely. It's not really a great hero versus the Io either. But speaking of that Io, CNB, they're going to grab Bristleback as their last. So grabbing 2 strength heroes, have a really, really bulky front line to protect their Shadow Fiend. Not only that, but they also have additional healing to funnel into that front line. So they have a lot of tanky heroes to deal with. And I'm not sure if they're going to have the best game right now. I said last game that I didn't really know who to favor. This time, I gotta go with CNB. Even though the Shadow Fiend, in my opinion, is a little bit of a risky pick every single time, just because he is inherently a glass cannon. I just like how they have, the steady support heroes in the back, with the tanks in the front, the damage dealer in the back as well. It's very MMO-esque, if that makes any sense. And that's not really justification for a good or bad draft. It just kind of is the way I'm describing it to describe a draft, a lineup that does work very well. You have heroes causing havoc in the front. Axe is the best tank in the game, and by every definition of tank, he is that tank. And then, of course, if you can protect Alamo, then you'll be fine. So I like CNB's draft this game, and it's going to be up to INTZ to prove me wrong and try to get some early action going with this Enchantress. She's maybe going to buy smoke first, and if she doesn't, then maybe passive Enchantress play, and that's not really what you want to do. Either way, CNB currently holding a 1-game advantage. You're going to be going out to the bottom lane first. We got Alamo playing the Shadow Fiend with Jubilu on the Axe. Most likely will head towards the top lane, maybe with some help. Ned is going to be playing the Aya. We got Darky playing the Bristleback following up, and VSW is going to be on the Dazzle. Don't really think we're going to be seeing a 3-0-3 Dazzle this particular game, but who knows, anything's possible. On the inside, it's going to be Winder Runner on the Skywrath Mage. On the Centaur Warrunner, Wasted is going to be playing that hero once again. They see their lane opponent's going to be the Bristleback, so a little more intel for INTZ. Fuzzy's going to be handling the mid lane Brewmaster. We got Cab on the Enchantress. Then up towards the top, it's going to be 225 on the Faceless Void. And this is not really what Faceless Void wants to see. You don't want to be a Faceless Void going up against an Axe. It's just not good times. The Enchantress's ability to help out here is also going to be a little bit limited. Yeah, it's annoying to deal with the Centaur occasionally, or a Hellbear or a Troll, but it's not something that Axe can't deal with, going with both the Ring of Protection and the Stout Shield. So Axe should have a free time up in this top lane, especially if he gets any help from Ned. Ned might play a very nomadic role. He's going to grab a lot of regeneration early on. I actually like it a little bit more when IOs grab level 1 bottle, or save their gold and then buy a bottle with it. I feel like it gives you a lot more burst potential as far as healing is concerned. Lets you do more things, lets you play more aggressively. But this is also a reasonable way to go. It just means that his healing is going to be delayed, and honestly don't even know if he's going to need that much healing. Yeah, the Skywrath Mage is pretty dangerous. Centaur Warrunner can potentially get a kill on Darky, but as long as the IO is here, he has a salve, so he will be more or less fine. And Dazzle heading up towards the top lane is going to make this lane even more of a nightmare for the Faceless Void, if that was even possible. Like, what you see right now is what you get. Faceless Void, 2 spins to the face, and there's nothing you can do about that. Fortunately for him, he already has a Ring of Protection, which is not something we ordinarily see from Voids. It's usually just Stout Shield stats. But Ring of Protection is going to help him quite a bit versus the counter helix. So Jubilu, he'll be able to play this lane pretty much however he wants to without being in any trouble at any given stage in the game. The Enchantress build, she has gone for that smoke. So look towards a smoke in the mid lane to to disrupt the Shadow Fiend's farm. But right now, him and Fuzzy just going to be going toe-to-toe. Fairly normal stuff here. And again, no one should be dying anytime soon here. Down towards bottom lane is probably INTZ's strongest lane. Centaur, Skywrath Mage versus the IO, who can't really do that much to disrupt this, is going to be pretty much at their mercy. Bristleback, as long as he gets to level 4-ish, he will be fine. Has even gone for level 1 goo. So this is him preparing for an aggressive play versus the Skywrath Mage, more so than anything else. Centaur already has boots first. Skywrath Mage also has boots first, but Skywrath Mage is just such a glass cannon hero that if you get 1 stack of goo on him, you could put a lot of damage into him before he could really do anything. So Darky looking to play aggressively rather than defensively. Interesting to see, given the fact that he's up against 2 enemy heroes. But he's not really being pressured at all, so it doesn't really matter what his skill build is going to be because, well, INTZ, they don't really have heroes here, so that's going to be a little bit awkward. Not surprisingly, up towards top, Axe got a call on to 225 and just waiting for another creep wave to come in, but the Axe doesn't even need to get kills here necessarily. He will have to worry about this Mind Stealer. This is a very annoying creep for the Enchantress to grab. It's not really going to be the most threatening of creeps, but hey, having no call means the Faceless Void is going to be a little bit safer. Problem is that Jubilu can still do stuff like this. He's pretty much immune to these creeps. He'll just spin them all down, get a truckload of cash and experience in the meantime, and also force 225 to last hit under tower, and also take creep damage in the process. So 225 is not going to have a good game, but I think we already established that. And Cab doesn't look like he's going to help this Faceless Void anytime soon, so they're kind of throwing Faceless Void to the wolves. Faceless Void, though, fortunately for him, he's not really getting cut off from his experience, so he will get a quick Chronosphere. So if there is any shot at redeeming this bad start of Faceless Void, it's in that Chronosphere with the help of maybe a Skywrath Mage down the line. Also, just having the Skywrath Mage up here might be enough to get some action going. Jubilu is capable of charging the Skywrath Mage, but not without boots. He needs those brown boots at the very least. The Scarith Mage being up in the top lane is going to free Darky up into a lane, which would have been pretty good for him anyway versus that Centaur Warrunner is now pretty fantastic for him. Going toe-to-toe with another Strength hero is something that Respect is perfectly okay with doing. Centaur does have a magic stick, so he will be able to get a couple more hoof stomps out, but as far as his ability to use that extra mana and health, it's the health that's going to be important. Really, double edge is going to be a little bit more spammed, but the mana not really going to be too influential there. So it's a full defensive tri-lane now for INTZ. Let's see if they actually stop Jubilee with it, however, because I don't really know if they can. Shockwaves and Arcane Bolts are going to be fairly annoying, but it's not going to be slowing down this axe substantially anytime soon. And at that point, it's going to be where is Ned going to get his farm, where is the Dazzle going to get his farm. Both those two heroes are not doing that great as far as their experience is concerned. But the IO not having to worry about anyone but the Centaur in lane is going to have a little bit more of a free time to pull. Oh, they actually catch a call on Winder Runner. A couple more spins. It's going to be a free kill. Oh, man, that should never, ever happen. It's a level 2 Scarith Mage, 0 base armor, very, very fragile hero, and I guess he just didn't expect the axe to have mana? I mean, you just don't get that close to an axe ever. Like, I don't care who you are. If you get close to an axe, you're asking for trouble. You're axing for trouble. Eh? Eh? Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, he is gonna get a freebie. I mean, you didn't even work hard for that. You just press the button, get a kill, easy peasy. Let the RNG sort everything out. Maybe INTZ get a retaliation kill over towards mid, but Alamo has an IO right behind him. He's going to get slowed down a little bit. Here comes the Enchantress. Double Centaurs are available. Wisp is going to get in there with a little bit of regen. Centaur Stomp 1 misses. And the bottle gets delivered just in time. Io is going to even drink a salve, so that Shadow Fiend gets right back up to full HP. No smoke used there. Enchantress still holding on to that one. But so far, this Enchantress has been doing nothing but farm and play a minor annoyance role in towards the axe. And that is not worth picking up a hero to be a minor annoyance. That's probably the worst reason to pick up a hero, in fact. So, 5 minutes in, and CNB looking pretty darn good right now. INTZ, they do soon have this level 6 in the Brewmaster, and it seems like they really want to make a play, some sort of play, onto the Shadow Fiend. That's a reasonable way to go, but it's probably a guaranteed kill as long as they can land a clap and split on the Shadow Fiend. The only problem is actually making that happen, and even then, got to worry about Ned, who's going to be right behind the Shadow Fiend, funneling in HP with that tether. So Shadow Fiend is getting quite a bit of protection. Top lane, Axe is getting quite a bit of protection, and bottom lane doesn't need protection. So INTZ, they have to break the stalemate somehow. Usually it's going to be the Enchantress to do it, or the jungler to do it, but so far, what can the Enchantress do? If they catch VSW here at the net, that might be a kill. The net will time up if the Centaur gets in close enough, though, and Jubilee is closing in. He has a straight line. Winder Runner, though, will get a cut through those trees. Chronosphere onto Jubilee. How's their damage output looking? Not really good enough. Ned's going to come right in with a little bit of bottling action. Jubilee has that movement speed as well. Gets a call onto Cav. That will be one easy kill. Chopped down, looking for another. Winder Runner on the run, but I don't really know if he can get enough distance because the IO's doing some pretty serious damage right now. Another chop down. That's 2, and 225 is going to have to huddle under his tower in order to get out of here. Hey, there's a courier. Okay, don't pay attention to the courier tire side. I guess they didn't realize that there was a random animal there. Stampede out, and it looks like they're going to initiate up towards top. Ned is in a lot of trouble. He will be brought down instantly. Jubilee is not packing that call. VSW is now being focused down by the Brewlings. Will be another kill. 225 though, dropping pretty low. One more spin, one more call. Jubilee is going to grab another kill, but he will give his life for it. Brewmaster coming in big there with a run into a clap into a split. And that's pretty much all you could ask for if you're Fuzzy. Suddenly he's 1-0 and 2. A little bit of help from that Centaur off lane as well. That's going to be pretty nice for the inside, but still their axe, the enemy axe, is going to be a large problem because after all those kills, 4 kills to his name, he's now picked up his Blink Dagger. And if it wasn't bad already, it's going to get a little bit worse. And if they can weather the storm, maybe they have a chance, but the Faceless Void's still struggling in lane. And Chronosphere, we can see, has done next to nothing. Bristleback still on the bottom lane, just farming it up. Isn't really completely dominating the Centaur, but he is doing very well in comparison to the CS. Really, it's the Centaur's magic stick that's keeping him alive. Oh, hello, that happened. Winder Runner getting jumped, called. Not even called, I don't think. Actually, how much blood is on the floor? I actually don't know if that was a call. I don't think it was, but it might have been. Either way, Jubilee has shown off his Blink Dagger to get a kill. Much better than his first use of Blink Dagger in the last game as Bat Rider. But he could also get another one onto Fuzzy here, because they know that Brewmaster does not have his Blink. Blink call. There it is. Blink call. No spins, really, but they don't need it because they have a raise into a dunk. Brewmaster is going to take a quick fall, and Jubilee is just getting fed so many kills. Oh man, this is getting really bad for INTZ. Their Enchantress is going to have less and less of an impact as this game progresses, because she isn't really turbo farming either. She has no stacks that she's going to be tornadoing down afterwards. She's been playing the aggressive roamer Enchantress without any success. And whenever that happens, you're obviously just wasting your time since, well, you don't have any success. So Enchantress is going to be less of an impactful hero. Scarif Mage is still only level 3, having 3 deaths to his name. He needs a Mystic Flare. Once he has that, he has a chance at killing off the softer heroes like the Io or the Shadow Fiend. But even then, Shadow Fiend is going to be fairly durable. If you Chronosphere him, seal him, and Mystic Flare him, you'll be able to kill him off. Otherwise, he'll mech up and he'll probably get some bailout in some way, shape, or form from this Io. So 6-3 right now, and INTZ not doing fantastically on really any of their heroes. Centaur Warrunner not even that close to a Blink Dagger, which can act as another way of breaking through this kind of oppressive state that CNB, or that INTZ rather, have found themselves in. But outside of that, don't really know if it's going to be happening. Fuzzy is going to get some pretty elite dodges on the Shadow Fiend, but his tower is also being destroyed. Jubilu, oh, he maybe wants to go in for a kill. Level 4 call doesn't really last for too long. Unless there are some really nice spins, Brewmaster should be able to survive. Don't get too close to this creep wave, Brew. Oh, blink call. Here's their chance. They need 2 raises to land and a call. That's it. Perfectly done. 2 raises and a call. Easy peasy. If Brewmaster gets a little bit more time, he'll just split out and then run away. No call to worry about. But instead, he goes down. 25 seconds on the sidelines. The creep wave awkwardly gets pulled back by the Centaur, but they're tanky enough to kill off this tower regardless. The tower is going to be claimed, and up towards the top, VSW is going to get Chronosphere. There's not enough damage output here for 225, though. The Io is going to come in, doesn't even have anything to help out, but they'll force back the Faceless Void regardless, because Faceless Void just doesn't have anything. So VSW gets to live, pulls out a Chronosphere, plus they get a tower, CNB. This is getting really bad for INTZ really quickly. Looking at the net worth, like, this is what you want to see if you're a fan of CNB. Green all on the top, and all 3 of the core heroes. Doesn't really get much better than that. And Jubilu, he's made his rotation all the way from top, now down to the bottom lane, where Brewmaster is unfortunately going to be there as well. Now, Darky can't help as much as the Shadow Fiend. It's going to be a lot of Jubilu's luck that determines whether or not they get a kill on the Brewmaster. But if it's a Centaur to go down to the bottom lane, then it doesn't matter. That's an easy kill. Now Jubilu's going to back off and just farm. In the meantime, INTZ, they finally used their smoke, or at least a smoke. That wasn't... Maybe it was the same smoke? I don't know. They're looking for someone. Best case scenario, they run into Ned right now. But even then, like, it's just an IO kill. They don't really care about that, INTZ. Not at all. Alamaz, in the meantime, has picked up his mech, is going to stack the jungle up real high, and then raise it all down later on. He already has that mech completed. Upgraded boots, I'm sure, are going to be the next item pickup for him. Then moving forward into something a little bit tankier. Maybe Eye of Scotty, maybe just Blink Dagger, BKB, items of that caliber. Really, he has freedom to do pretty much anything he wants as far as item build is concerned. And CNB, they're getting very far ahead. They could even translate this into Roshan. They have the Bristleback on their team, so a lot of nasal goo there. Presence of the Dark Lord, not up yet, but once it is, that'll help out a little bit more as well. Not to mention just straight up plus damage from Shadow Fiend. And they have the Dazzle with the Medallion, so killing off Roshan is going to be a cakewalk for the CNB side if they actually want to pull that trigger. For right now, they're going to look to trade towers, though. Wasted's off to the side, has Stampede, no blink. They're going to smoke right under a ward, and they're going to try to jump in. They catch 225, but there's no creeps here. Here comes Relocate, though, and a chop down. Faceless Void doesn't even have a chance to get away there. Stampede, Wasted, he's going... Stampede is wasted, and Wasted is going to teleport out. My god, that's what happens when you have a name like Wasted. But Faceless Void, even with not really many spins, no creeps there for Jubilu to get additional rolls. He's going to get the kill anyway because of a relocated Shadow Fiend. Ned showing off his level 6, and it is not even going to be a tower trade for INTZ. It's just going to be a tower loss in the bottom lane. Darky has a Vanguard. He doesn't really have to worry about anything in this bottom lane. He's even going to go for a completed Crimson. A pretty aggressively defensive build for the Bristleback. And when you're a Bristleback, you can afford to just bulk up, and you'll be happy with that. Fuzzy, oh, if he gets jumped right now, no, he's going to be... Actually, no, he's out of mana. This is really bad for Fuzzy. They need the Shadow Fiend to get a little bit closer. Io is doing some serious damage as well as VSW. Fuzzy on the run. He's going to survive as Cab is going to maybe take the bullet. This Shadow Fiend just can't hit anything. He's just missing so many times, this time up high ground, but off to the side. Here comes the axe. Fuzzy, don't get dunked. Oh, Cab, don't get dunked either. Nope, blink, dunk. That's one kill. Now he's completely out of mana, but axe still looking for more. The jukes from Cab is going to keep him alive. But Jubilu has a freaking soul booster. Oh my god. You know, Soul Booster, or Bloodstone rather, on Axe isn't actually the worst. Like, if you think about it, having the mana, pretty nice. Obviously, you want health. And then if you're balling this out of control, I think Bloodstone might actually be better than Aghanims. There are certain cases where Aghanims on Axe just doesn't do anything. If you get it this early, it'll be guaranteed to do stuff. In fact, he would have it by now. So maybe in this case, Aghanims would be better, but I think Bloodstone on Axe is actually pretty reasonable. Lets you spam out your skills and everything like that. I don't know, though. I mean, the Soul Booster that is like 3,300 gold. So he could have had a completed Aghanims by now, and then that would just mean he could jump in, hit someone once, and then chop their head off. Maybe a wasted potential there, but they're going to look for 225 either way. Blink, call, Golem's going to help out there as well. Can they get the dunk? You sure as hell bet they can. VSW is going to take a little bit of damage from Fuzzy. He does have mana for a split this time. He might have to use it right now because Jublu's right on his ass. Call's going to interrupt the split, though. Another dunk is available. They'll kill off the Brewmaster. No split available. Oh, my God. The perfect timing for Jublu to get that spell back off cooldown. Now looking for another. Is missing 10 mana to do so. Now he has it enough. Call is there. Wasted is going to get wasted. No call available because there's no mana, but the spins and the right-click damage should be enough regardless. The Io Dazzle Axe combo trouncing Ints. Now 12-3 in 14 minutes. All the while, Darky and Alama pushing up the top lane. Was there a tier 1 tower? Yes, there was. So Darky took that one out. Now he's going to take another one out. Soul Booster completed for Axe. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm expecting double-digit souls very, very quickly, just based off of his score. 1-1-1, and the good 1-1-1 as well. So this is getting pretty bad. Chronosphere has been used like twice to do nothing each time. Split just can't get out because Brewmaster's getting locked down every single time. This Axe has the Brewmaster's number. Hell, he has everyone's number on Ints. And that's GG. 15 minutes in, they realize that there's no point in continuing this charade, so they decide to tap out. Man, last game was... Okay, that's a good way to go, Axe. That's a great way to go. The last game was a lot closer. But man, this game was just an absolute raffle stomp. Ints took a giant bite out of the curb, and CNB were more than happy to push down on that jaw. So that's going to be it in the best of 2. CNB claim victory in 2 games. This one off of a very nice Axe start. But then again, when you have a Faceless Void versus Axe matchup, you're axing for trouble. And I don't think it should be surprising to anyone that the Axe got off to that great of a start. Kind of surprised that they prevented every single split from happening, except for one, but man, still either way, CNB demolishing Ints, and look at the score of Bristleback. He's just been farming the entire game. He doesn't care. He's just off doing his own thing. Axe winning the game for CNB, whereas Darky just chilling. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. CNB take it in a 2-game series. Take the best of 2, 2-0. That's going to be it for me today. HeflaTV 2 is still live with Boreal versus Lunatics, and looks like that will be going for a little while longer. So I'll redirect you guys over to that channel where Grandis is casting. But for right now, I'm Mike Loris. It's been a pleasure casting this best of 2 for you guys. In the future, look forward to more JDL America. If you did like this stream, then be sure to hit that follow button. Follow me on Twitter as well, at Mike Loris. It's all in the stream. And yeah, just a little bit of a break, then I'll redirect you guys over to HeflaTV 2. I will also put that link in the chat. So until next time, guys, I will see you. GG.